Xbox just turned 25, and Microsoft's big birthday celebration is remakes, prequels, sequels, and a see-through green console that screams, "Remember when we mattered?" That were Xbox Game Showcase 2026. It wasn't a disaster, but not exactly a statement either. Alright, you lot. So I sat through Xbox's showcase yesterday, and I've got thoughts. Not all of them pretty, but a few were actually positive, which surprised me as much as it'll surprise you. Now, the open proceedings with Gears of War E-Day, and look, it looked good. Really good. Marcus and Dom charging through city streets as locusts rip everything apart. Visceral melee, active reload, classic Gears action with a gorgeous visual upgrade. October 6th release date. I'll be playing it, no question about that. But here's my issue with it. Why open with Gears when you got a dedicated Gears of War E-Day Direct scheduled straight after your showcase? You've just front-loaded something you're about to repeat in full detail an hour later, and that waters down both segments. It's bizarre pacing from whoever planned that running order, because if you'd open with something else and save Gears as a closer leading into its own showcase, you'd have built momentum instead of burning it twice. But here's what did get me attention, and I mean properly got it, console exclusive. Asher Sharma, who's now running ship since Phil Spencer rode off into retirement, came right out and confirmed Gears E-Day is an Xbox console exclusive. And honestly, that's exactly what Xbox needed to do. They started shoveling everything onto PlayStation, and that was ludicrous, because if there's no reason to buy your box dies. And if your box dies, Sony's got zero competition. And when Sony has zero competition, they charge whatever they want, ship what they want, and nobody holds them accountable for any of it. We've seen it already with PS5 Pro pricing and Sony's general attitude of it recent years. Competition's what made God of War great. Competition's what made Gears great. Strip that away and all you're left with is complacency wearing a suit. Now, Halo campaign Evolved still looks pretty good, dropping July 28th, so not long now. Full remake of Combat Evolved's campaign with 3 brand new prequel missions featuring Master Chief and Sergeant Johnson aboard a Covenant research vessel. So, proper added content, not just a coat of paint slapped on a 25-year-old campaign. It's going multi-platform though, Xbox, PC and PS5, making it first ever Halo title on PlayStation console, which is a sentence I genuinely never thought I'd ever say. But here we are in 2026 and Halo's on PlayStation. But going back to what I said earlier, I hope this is only one going on PlayStation. Now then, DMZ, and fuck me. On paper, this sounds incredible. Modern Warfare 4 is getting full dedicated DMZ mode, and this time it's not an afterthought bolted onto Warzone like before. It's a core third mode with its own development time behind it. 20 squads of 3, matchmaking that prioritises squad size, a map called Hajin, spanning South Korea, North Korea and Russia. It's bigger than Al Mazrah, with dynamic weather that changes depending on which country you're in, different AI behaviour, different vehicles, different voice lines per region. You got a forward base to gear up, a persistent stash to store items across sessions, no hard wipes, a bounty hunter system with in-game leaderboards tracking best PvP players, a trait system for dedicated progression, and 3 distinct ways to play between story missions, dynamic ops, and free roam. This is an extraction shooter fan's wet dream. Every single thing on that list is something I'd want in a mode like this. But, as usual, Activision fucked up. Cost a lock in it behind premium paywall. Last time around, DMZ were free, bundled into Warzone, and it were brilliant. Loads of fun. I played it regularly. It were one of the best things to come out of Call of Duty in years. Had they stuck to that model, kept DMZ free, maybe as part of Warzone again, I'd be playing the Call of Duty this year. But I'm not buying a full-price game just for one mode. So I'm someone they've lost from day one numbers. And I guarantee you there's thousands more sitting there right now with exact same conviction. Activision had a golden opportunity to build a standalone free-to-play extraction shooter under a Call of Duty brand, monetized through cosmetics. Exactly what made Warzone a cultural event to begin with. Instead, they paywalled it behind a 70 quid purchase. Baffling decision. One that will cost them a massive chunk of players who'll keep modes like this alive long term. And with everything else I've seen for Modern Warfare 4, I'm not impressed. I've heard all rumours and promises from devs, but you gotta remember it's all same bollocks they've been feeding you for the last 7 years. I've even heard Blame Truth said something good about it. And I'm thinking, are people genuinely gonna fall for it? Nah, mate, not me. I'm sticking to me guns. I'll not be buying any Call of Duty game until they can prove they'll stick to the word and make a proper game again. To turn around and decide to drop DMZ for free, I'll jump in. Otherwise, I'm out completely this year. On a much brighter note, Doom Dark Ages Revelations is coming July 7th. id Software are calling it the biggest expansion ever, and given what they did with Ancient Gods for Eternal, that's a serious statement to make. New campaign, frozen hell setting, new weapon, Chainspear, new demon types, deeper puzzles, and a free Repertorium 3.0 update for everyone dropping in on that same day. Dark Ages were already a banger last year, 3 million players in first week, and I'd like to say I'll be in Revelations day one, but that's not going to be easy. But I will get in on cloud at some point that week, through Game Pass, where it's costing me absolute no. Can't argue with free, and you can't argue with id Software when they're firing on all cylinders. Spyro A Realm Beyond. I know at least a couple of people who've been crying for this for bloody years. Toys for Bob are behind it, same studio that handled Reignited Trilogy beautifully, and this into remaster or a remake. It's a brand new Spyro game. First original entry in 18 years. True Dragonflight mechanics. Tom Kenny returning as Spyro's voice. Spring 2027 release. If you've been waiting for this, your prayers just got answered. And honestly, it's about bloody time. I'm genuinely happy for you lot. Castlevania Belmont's Curse caught me eye as well. Proper 2D action game landing on Castlevania's 40th anniversary. Gravity flipping mechanics. Sprawling castle map. October release. Timed perfectly for Halloween. And that 25th Anniversary Xbox Series X with translucent green shell inspired by that OG Xbox design. It's a funky looking bit of kit, I'll give 'em that. It's dropping in November, and it's a nostalgia play, obviously, but at least it's a good looking one. Now it is limited edition, which means they'll only make so many. So if you're thinking of grabbing one for your display, keep an eye out for those pre-orders going live, because I guarantee they'll go quick. Metro 2039 got announced too, which is exciting for people who've actually played a Metro game. I'm shamefully not one of those people. I got multiple entries sat in my library gathering digital dust, and I've never loaded a single one of them, which is genuinely criminal given how highly everyone rates the series. So before this new one drops somewhere as a free giveaway and I end up with yet another I ain't played, I need to sort that out. And a quick word on Summer Game Fest before I wrap up. I didn't sit through it live, only watched VOD trailers after, but there were some solid reveals in there. And honestly, only thing that properly got me going was Mighty Cuphead Adventure. That 8-bit pixel art classic arcade-style Cuphead spin-off. It's programmed in actual assembly language for Sega Master System with physical cartridge release alongside current-gen consoles. My lad turned to me during that trailer and said, "That's for you," and he's absolutely right. I'll be all over it. And if anyone's wondering why I ain't covered PlayStation State of Play, I didn't watch it. Simple as that. Not every creator needs to cover every show, and I'd rather give you an honest take on something I actually sat through than bullshit you about something I didn't. You want PlayStation coverage? Plenty of channels out there that'll sort you out, but it's not me. Not against PlayStation, mind. Just they've been on such a spiral down drain, I couldn't be bothered to stay up and watch it. Scotty needs his sleep, or Scotty starts doing bad things. And one last point I need to make here. Asher Sharma has done a grand job so far. She's proven herself worthy at position as head of Xbox. However, what Xbox fans need to remember is so did Phil Spencer. When he first stepped into that role, he were like a shot of caffeine straight into the bloodstream of Xbox. But towards end there, it wasn't so great. Asher has a little freedom, but soon Microsoft execs will start interfering a little more again, and things won't be all peaches and cream. So temper your expectations, don't get too invested in platform, and I set same for all platforms, they all eventually have the downtime. So, if you like this video, YouTube says you'll like this and next. So go check that out, and I'll see you there, you magnificent.